Brother, I've a faint suspicion you and I've been led astray, taught to drive the devil from us. We've invited him to stay. What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness with a stick, with a stick. No, we can't drive out the devil with a stick. Some proclaim all men are sinners, can't escape the devil's might. How their interest must intrigue him, they won't let him out of sight. What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness, talking sin, talking sin. No, we can't drive out the devil, talking sin. Some of us were taught the slogan, social evils must be slain. But can anger drive out sorrow, and can passion conquer pain? What we need is light, for we can't drive out the darkness while we hate, while we hate. No, we can't drive out the devil while we hate. Brother, have you ever wondered why the darkness lingers on? If we want to see the sunrise, let us turn and face the dawn. What we need is light, for we'll only beat the darkness when we love, when we love. Yes, we'll only beat the devil when we love.
Do not worry about whatever has happened before. As Sri Yukteswar said, forget the past. The past lives of all men are dark with many shames, but everything in future will improve if you are making the right spiritual effort now. You can't unmake an energy nearly so easily as you can redirect a new flow of energy that will offset the old. Let's say that you've got a lot of energy moving in this direction, and it's an energy toward darkness. And suddenly you put out a lot of energy here. If this energy is stronger, you no longer get pulled that way, you get pulled this way. And that darkness becomes transmuted, and it finally becomes transformed into light itself. That there isn't any black energy that can't be converted into light energy. It depends on energy itself. How much energy you put out, how much concentrated energy, and this all comes back to willpower. Yogananda said, the greater the will, the greater the flow of energy. And so when your willpower is strong to do the right thing, there's the marvelous story of Milarepa. I don't know how many of you have read that book, but it's well worth reading. It's Tibet's greatest yogi. He lived a few hundred years ago. And his mother had been cheated after her husband's death, cheated out of her inheritance by unscrupulous relatives. And she was unable to forgive, and helpless as a woman to revenge. And so she counted on her son, Milarepa, to revenge her. And out of a misplaced sense of filial loyalty and devotion, he went out and learned the arts of black magic. And through the arts of black magic, he created a little form in the shape of those relatives' fields, and was able by incantations over this plan to bring a hailstorm that destroyed all their crops. And then by black magic he was able to materialize all sorts of poisonous insects and snakes and so on that killed all those relatives. And it was after killing, I think, 33 of these relatives that he suddenly woke up to what a great sin he had committed, and that he had to bear the burden of that, even though he was doing it for his mother, out of love for his mother. And he realized that inevitably he would have to suffer for many lifetimes because of what he'd done. And so he tried to find a saint who would help him to overcome in one lifetime all that bad karma. Now mind you, most people simply would have gone ahead and suffered all those lifetimes. It was not an inevitable destiny, however, that he do so. Nor was it an inevitable destiny that he not do so. You must remember that too. It was up to his free choice. We have a certain amount of free choice. We'll come back to that because it's a very difficult subject in itself. But he found a guru who knew yoga, and he asked him to initiate him into this yoga. The guru said yes, he would be able to free him in one lifetime from this karma, but he must be a true and obedient disciple and do everything that he said. And so Milarepa said, all right, I will. And Guru Marpa wouldn't initiate him at first. He told him that he needed a house built up there on that hill in stone. And Milarepa, a young man, strong, but nevertheless this was quite punishment for his body, had to roll heavy stones up that hill to put up that building. And he had it just about finished when the guru came over and saw it and said, this isn't the hill I told you to put it on. I told you to put it on that hill, way at the other side of his large property. And so Milarepa took all the stones down and rolled them over to that hill, and finally had the house almost built. And his guru came over and saw it. He said, I didn't tell you to put it there. And Milarepa said, I very clearly remember, sir, that you did. I must have been drunk, said the guru. I didn't want it there, I wanted it here. Anyway, all this time people would come and get initiation and leave, and Milarepa was just there like the sort of slave doing all this work, and he was getting more and more discouraged every time that he was told that he had to start all over again. He would just fall into the pits of the blackest despair. And finally, after he had finally given up, his guru called him. After a long time of this outrageous discipline, his guru called him and said, such was your karma that you had to fall into complete despair 8 times before you could be free from the burden of it. Now you're fit to be initiated. And so he did initiate him, and Milarepa went and meditated in a cave for many years and became the greatest yogi Tibet has known. Remember that. Remember also what the Bhagavad Gita says. 2 very important things. 1, that even the worst of sinners, if he will steadfastly meditate, quickly can find me. And 2, even a little bit of the practice of this religion, that is to say, this inner religion as opposed to mere outward ritual, this inner religion of yoga, of communion with God inwardly, of lifting the consciousness up into superconsciousness. Even a little bit of the practice of this religion will free you from dire fears and colossal sufferings. Why? Because you'll be generating a new kind of energy. In fact, that energy will create an aura, a magnetic field of, that we call the aura around your body, through which negative destinies, negative karmas won't be able to penetrate. There isn't anything that you need fear.
That beautiful. Welcome again to everybody. I'd like to start with a brief reading from some words of masters. If the past has been hopelessly bad, the future must be hopefully good. Remember, no matter what our trials have been or how discouraged we are, if we will make a continued effort to be better and to succeed, we will find that being made in the image of God, we are endowed with unlimited power, which much stronger than our worst trials, no matter what they may be. Let us make up our minds that we will win, focusing all our concentration on the ceaseless efforts to succeed and to be victorious. Before his light, all messengers of darkness will fly away, and his wisdom will clasp the hand of your infant determination and lead the footsteps of your conscious efforts unerringly, fearlessly, through your strength-testing trials to the goal of ever-satisfying fulfillment. Come, ye brother idlers, shirkers, and enthusiasts, and with awakened, lasting, real, and continuous striving, follow the golden trail of achievement so clearly visible into the bright future. Today is a very special day. This is a special day if you really understand inwardly that it's our day. It's our day of remembering the light, that the light is within us, that we are children of light, that we are made of light. And I was remembering a wonderful, very interesting story of Dr. Lewis, who, there are several wonderful stories in his book, but he had a good friend who was in the hospital and the man was dying. And Dr. Lewis had faith in God, and he had faith in his guru. And he asked Master to pray for his friend. I don't even think he asked him to heal him or to whatever. He just said to pray for him. And Master said, all right, I will. And Master did. And the man was in the hospital in the bed, dying, as I said. And then he saw this flash of light. And he heard like an explosion in his room, a booming sound. And he sat up and he was completely healed. And a nurse who was there, who wasn't a disciple, this man wasn't a disciple either. He was a friend of a disciple. The nurse said that she saw a flashing light as well in the room and that she heard this booming sound. And she attested to the fact that the man was dying and suddenly he was healed. He was healed through light. He was healed through grace, through the blessings of God's power. And we have to remember that God's power, God's light can heal anything. It's over any darkness of illness or something with our finances or family problems or whatever. If we can tune into the light, we know that that light can overcome and can be victorious over any darkness. And these wonderful thoughts from the Gita that Swamiji said, even a little practice, even the worst of sinners by steadfast meditation on me and will speedily come to me. And Swami Sri Teswarji's wonderful phrase from autobiography Master quoted, forget the past. The past lives of all are dark with many shames, but everything will improve. He didn't say some things, a few things, maybe something. Everything will improve if you're making a spiritual effort now. And there was a man, Mr. Brockworth, I think was his name, and he was a disciple of Master. And when he was passing away, Swamiji was there, Kriyanandaji, and he said to him, oh, I've done many wrongs. And Swamiji reported that to Master, and the man, he passed away soon after. Master said about him, he said, oh no, he shouldn't have said that. Because he always wanted us to affirm the soul is light, the soul is freedom, the soul has God's power in it, the soul is pure. And as we do our practices, we realize that. And there's so many wonderful songs and chants. Like this is a great song of Swamiji. I hope you enjoyed it. Devil worship, it's called, because people tend to look at the darkness all the time. He said, what we need is light. And also from so many wonderful chants, I awaken thy light, I'm joyful, I'm free, I awaken thy light, and songs, thy light within us shining, and affirmations on the light, I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I'm living in that light. The divine presence fills me within and without. And maybe at the beginning, you feel like it's only an affirmation that I have all these problems, I have all these fears, I have doubts, I have worries. But as you continue on, what I have found is that everything improves. As Swami Sri Teswarji said, as you keep chanting, everything improves, you get better. As you keep meditating, everything improves. As you keep doing Kriya, everything improves. As you keep serving, every call on the Guru, everything improves. And you get better and better and better. And your eyes change, your face changes, your energy, your aura, your magnetism, everything changes. But it takes time, and it takes continuous effort, and never, never, never giving up. That no matter what happens, no matter what befalls me, what tests, and my God, all you have to do is read the lives of the saints. They've all gone through enormous tests of darkness. But then the light came. And as we cling to everything that we have, you realize it's like a nail in a board. You keep pulling that nail out. You don't know how deep it is. You don't know how deep that karma is. You keep working at it through your sadhana. You keep working at it, and suddenly it's gone, and you're free. Or like a seed that you've planted on the ground, and you plant it and you water. There's sun. There's nutrition's nourishment for the plants, and you don't keep looking at it saying, are you growing, are you growing? You just let it grow. It's growing. You're changing. Things are happening. You don't always see it yourself. I remember Nayaswami Dhyana was saying that she said, I think in one of the recent classes, but she told Swamiji, he was at one time, Kriyananda was saying how different people have changed. Have you seen the changes in their faces over time? And she said, I don't think I changed very much, Swamiji. And he said, what do you mean? You're a completely different person. And I think we just don't see it ourselves. But things are happening, and we're becoming more and more and more light. And as we affirm that and know it and say, I can, I will, I am changing, the other things begin to fall away. I remember when I first was on the path, and I was only doing yoga postures. I wasn't even doing Kriya yet, I don't think. And I became a vegetarian just from doing yoga postures because I liked the way I felt. And then I thought, oh, I can't eat this. I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat that, because I felt so good in myself. And let it happen naturally. But remember that God's grace is there. Master told one man who said, how can I do a particular thing that Master wanted him to do? He said, without your grace and without your blessing. And Master said, listen, my blessing's there. God's blessing is even there. Where is your blessing? And we have to remember that. And also one man said, you can do these things, Master, because you're a master. He said, what do you think made me a master? By doing. And so the Guru's grace is there. Our Master's grace is there. God's grace is there. But we have to do our part. And every step of the way to keep our sadhana strong, keep with good company, keep all the practices going. And then we see little by little, the changes come, and we are more and more free. And so on this day, of special day of Dashera, keep in mind the deeper purpose, the deeper meaning of light in our lives, and that we are becoming more and more, and we will at some point become only the light. And I like to close with you today with an affirmation on light, the one that I went over just a minute with you. If you'd sit up straight and close your eyes and feel these are your own words. This is from Master, but feel you're affirming this today, for today and for always. These are Master's words. Let's say it out loud and more quietly, and then mentally. I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. The divine presence fills me within and without. I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. The divine presence fills me within and without. I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. Divine presence fills me within and without. I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. Divine presence fills me within and without. Now mentally repeat, gazing up at the spiritual eye, try to see the light there. I am submerged in eternal light. It permeates every particle of my being. I am living in that light. The divine presence fills me within and without. Let's rub our hands together and send the light out to friends, family, loved ones, all those who we know who are in need, and on blessings, special blessings for today. Om. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I'll ask Natindra to join me now. We have a couple of questions.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I'll just share the list of questions. How can I control behaviors that I know are unhealthy? Things like anger, maybe drinking or negativity and so on.
Yeah, I remember the story Swamiji told about himself that he used to smoke. And he said that he kept, this is in the Raja Yoga book, and he said that he kept trying to get rid of that habit. And this was before he came onto the path, of course. And it took him many times, many trials to finally get rid of it. But he said that he always in his mind never said, I failed. He said, I have not yet succeeded. Isn't that beautiful? It's a different way of thinking. I haven't yet succeeded. And so you keep trying and you keep trying. And what I've seen is sooner or later you do succeed. But if you say, no, it's not going to work, the techniques don't work, this path isn't good, I'll try something else, Master's not helping me, then you won't have the help. But if you put everything you have into it, it could be a while. Some things are buried very deep from many lifetimes. You can't act like everything is just going to come out immediately. Some things come quickly and other things take a long time. But surely Guru's grace is there and your effort has to be strong. And then I just never have seen it fail. Never, honestly. And after some time on the path, you start feeling more and more free, more and more detached from things, more and more. I was thinking of something as simple as shopping. When I first started on the path, even before, let's say before that, I used to shop all the time. I got to buy this, I got to buy that, go to the store, go to the mall. I just don't have any desire. There are things that if you analyze yourself, you may even want to keep a journal and just look at things that just, they're not there anymore, or they're there very little. Before they were huge. Maybe anger was huge, now it's less. Maybe moods, as Swamiji said, he put his focus at the spiritual eye and got rid of a mood in 5 minutes. Maybe you can get rid of a mood through your Kriya more quickly, or through chanting. Sadness, maybe you chant, and then suddenly you just feel happy. So I think we have to use what we have to make the changes and not just, I mean, affirmation is fantastic, like as we just did, but you can't just say, well, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You have to do something about it. So put your effort in. I mean, people have worked hard to make changes. It's not, Master said this path isn't easy, but the worldly path is much harder. So you make the choice. Okay, you have another question?
Yes, Chahaji. The question is, what did Master mean by environment is stronger than will? And how can I change my environment if actually it is negative?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, let's say, first of all, the places that you go to. So if you go to a bar, which I hope nobody does, you go to a bar, there's a vibration there of people drinking and social and who knows what. And you may not be the type of person who drinks, but there could be some friend there says, oh, it's not going to hurt you. Just take a glass of wine or whatever. Just come on, everybody's drinking. And you start doing that too, because there's an influence around you. If you go, on the other hand, to a mandir, like I'm here at the temple of Panchil, this beautiful altar. They had a kirtan last night, and an interesting thing happened. I came in here, and my dear friend Deepika is here helping me, and I said, I knew they had a kirtan. I said, did you sing some Divine Mother chants last night? She said, yeah. I said, did you sing this Jai Ma, Jai Kali Ma, Jai Jagadamba Ma, Jai Parvati Ma? She said, yeah, Daya chanted that. I just knew they had chanted that here. Now how? The vibration was still here. The vibration of spirituality, whatever the vibration is, wherever you go, is there. But in a temple, especially if people are sincerely chanting and praying to God and offering themselves to God, you walk in there and you feel like the place is chanting for you, or it's meditating for you. It's so uplifting. And there are neutral places as well, but Master said to take a spiritual bodyguard along with you at times when you feel like it's a questionable environment. And a bodyguard could also be some of Master's and Swamiji's books, or I listen to the music. If I'm by myself and I'm going out somewhere, whatever, I put on the music, or I have a book with me, or some books, or a picture of Master or one of the gurus. And so create your own environment is the other thing, but don't think you're strong enough to go into any environment and be fine. You're not. You're just not. And so at home, if there's a negative environment, you probably have your own room where you can go and meditate and chant and read and study, and then also be in a positive spiritual environment as much as you can, meaning get to the center. The centers are open now. It's online. If you can't get to the center, you're getting a wonderful influence. And I mean, just think, this has only been 30 minutes. And I certainly feel much more uplifted than I did yesterday without doing the class. And so you must feel that an influence is coming to you, spiritual influence that's purifying your consciousness, uplifting you, giving you good thoughts, good vibrations, positive energy, blessings, grace of the masters, the touch of Guru in your heart. And so the aim for as positive an environment as you can be in. And just remember, one disciple asked Master, he said, but Master, if I can't be with you, or something like that, like I can't be there, I can't be with you. He said, what should I do? And Master said, am I not always with you? He said, to those who think me near, I am near. So as well, call on Master, call on Babaji, call on one of the gurus to be with you. And you will find that wonderful energy can be with you 24 hours a day. I'll share something that was personal to me. When I first came to India, I said to Swamiji, because I didn't know any of the wonderful friends I have all around India now. I didn't know any Indian then, really. And I said to Swamiji, sometimes it gets lonely here. And this was early on. And he gave me a wonderful quote, not a quote, but a piece of advice. that I keep in my mind all the time. He said, Dhyana, when you practice, if you practice the presence of God, you will never feel alone. And from that day on, I never felt alone. I didn't have more friends right away, but I started practicing the presence of God. So the inner environment is also, it's very, very more important than anything. And so keep that in mind too, because there are times you feel down, you feel lonely, you feel moody or whatever. If you practice the presence of God, you will never feel alone. What does that mean? Japa, calling on God, looking at a photo, chanting, feeling Master near you, talking to Master, share everything with him. Share your worries, share your doubts, and share, I feel angry now, whatever. I feel moody now, Master. I don't want to feel that way. Help me not to feel this way. And you'll feel that his blessing will always be there. Do we have a final question?
Yes, Dhyanaji, there is actually a live question.
Okay.
So if the environment consists of someone who stays in the house and perhaps who has harmed or betrayed me, then how can I seek Guru's help?
What was that second part? Who has done what? Stays in the house, but then?
Has, let's say, harmed or betrayed me, then how can I ask the Gurus to help me go beyond that environment?
It's difficult. I certainly have faced betrayal. If the person is living right there in the house with you, I would certainly you just have to keep calling on Master's help. You just have to. Just, Master, how can I deal with this situation? I'm doing my best. You have to help me with this situation. Help me, help the person, help the situation. I would pray that every day. And I've seen things happen. I mean, you think nothing's happening, but a lot is happening behind the scenes. You have to give it to the Guru. How can you carry that? How can you make a change when somebody's right there in your face and you just, and I would ask, ask for prayers from others. They don't have to know the situation, but ask for prayers for yourself. Well, I can say that I felt grace from Master with a situation similar to that, where I just said to Swamiji, I can't get out of this. I'm really upset. And I've tried everything. I'm affirming, I'm chanting, I'm teaching, I'm reading, I'm studying. And I said, nothing's happening. I'm still upset. He said, don't worry about it. And then the next day it was completely gone. And I know it was Master who helped me. So you've just got to know that you can't handle everything by yourself. And then I've found that he creates situations where the things work out for you. Something will work out, and it may not be a comfortable situation, but the karma will be finished. So, but you can't set that up for yourself. I say the final analysis, you have to offer it to God and Guru. Do your best. I mean, we can only do as much as we can. And also, I've seen that sometimes it takes a long time, years, because it's your karma as well. You can't get out of it completely saying it's zero my fault. It's your karma too. So when your karma's finished, Master feels it's done, then it's done. I remember asking Swamiji at one point of something. I said, please don't ask me to continue. And he said, I'm not. And because the karma was over. So just realize that you're in, your karma is there too. It's not like it's all their fault. And just ask Master to help you to finish your karma. And again, I've never seen it fail. Sometimes it takes a long time, but at that moment, it's over. So do your best until that point comes.
Thank you, Dhyanaji.
Is that it for today?
Yes, Dhyanaji.
Okay, happy to share it to everybody again. God bless you all.